crazy time that we're going through right now worldwide. And we're just excited to connect with you today, have some tea, have some conversation. Today, you're going to learn about something that I found out about 7.5 years ago that has blown my mind, not only on what it can do on activating our health to be at its optimal level, but also what it's done for my family and a lot of other people, the business wise. So just a little bit about my story. You know, I was a pro athlete, my husband and I, and got our income cut in half, tried to start a small business here on Kauai, and that didn't work out very well. Our feet were nailed to the floor. We got paid last and unfortunately had to close the doors. Then we ended up in survival mode, which a lot of people are feeling right now, that desperation of having too much month at the end of the money, that feeling that is everything going to be okay, especially right now with our future being so uncertain. So for me personally, my health started to really take a toll. And before I start, I just want to make sure that you guys are well aware that these products are absolutely life-changing and revolutionary, but it's important that I tell you that we cannot say that we can cure or mitigate any disease. So what you're hearing today is everyone's personal experience, but as you'll see, this is powerful stuff. So for me, you know, I think it was the not having the money come in. Unfortunately, my health took a toll. I became an insomniac, anxiety, depression knocking on my door. It was a rough time. And when I was introduced to these products, I was skeptic of all skeptics. I even got my husband and my father-in-law and my dad on the products first before I would try to take them. But once I did see that everyone's life was changing and their health was being renewed, I did start to do my research. I did start to take the product. And personally, it was amazing because my anxiety basically almost went away overnight. I was sleeping like a baby again, which is everything in health. If you can reboot your makeup by sleeping and resting. And I just noticed that my overall mood was way better. I had more energy. I could be more present with the kids. So you're going to hear some incredible stories today. This is only going to take about 20 or 30 minutes. I'll jump on right at the end to just talk a little bit about some of the business side of it. But our first guest is Cary Hiltsley. She's been a dear friend for a long time, and her story is amazing. So go ahead, Cary, if you want to unmute yourself and go for it.
Hey there. Hi, guys. Can you hear me okay? Awesome. Hey, so I'm really happy to be here with you guys. And I just want to give you a little bit of my story. Like, I've been here as well for 7 years, and our whole family taking the products. I needed the products in the beginning for my daughter at 16 years old. And so we started to implement the products and just fell in love. And we've just been, continuously using them as our company grew and turned more into a nutrigenomics company. We, just kept putting them into our bodies. We've also been giving it to our dog for the whole time. So she's 11 and she has the best health. She doesn't have to go to the vet. Like, she's fabulous. But my story, what I want to share with you guys today is that we're huge horse lovers. My daughter's 15 years old, and we have the ability to take her to this property here on Kauai. And there's like about 20 horses there. And we've been going through there for probably close to 4 years now. And so we have the ability to see the health of all of these horses. And we've actually taken care of a few, probably like 3 or 4 of them through this whole 3.5, 4 years, and have been given them the Protandim NRF2 here and there. A few years ago, I want to tell you in particular about our friend Dallas. So Dallas used to be on the corner over here by himself in the pasture, and Uncle Stu is the fellow that runs this ranch. And we were like, hey, can you bring this horse over here with us because he looks so lonely? So brought him over to this pasture where we're at, which is like acres and acres of land. And we noticed that he had issues with his knee and he was slow. And so we decided to adopt him and start taking care of him and giving him Protandim, and just to use him for an example for us to see what can this do, because we knew that it would help horses, but we didn't know how. We wanted to see it firsthand. And so we started giving Dallas 1 pill, and it was like every other day or every 3 days because we didn't go every day at that time. And so we started giving him 1 pill every other day or every 3 days, however we were up there. And this guy started to run like a pony in the pasture with this other pony that was there, that was super healthy. So, you know, bum knee. And we took videos of him through the time that we would share this product with him. And we showed it to Uncle Stu, and he was floored. He said, I have known this horse for so long, and I've never seen him move like this before. So we knew, we were just like, oh my gosh, look at him. It just made us like, it made our day. And so we actually still give it to Dallas because we know he has a bum knee, and I believe it's just like arthritic or something like that. But we're able to ride him if we want to. Younger kids, we can put him on him. And so we are just able to see like what this NRF2 activation, we know how we feel, but we've been giving it to our dog. And so we tested it on this giant horse, one pill, and just saw miraculous changes with him. One other thing I want to share with you guys is we have our hair care line. My dog has always had itchy skin. So I decided, well, if it works for me, I'm going to try the shampoo on my dog. So now I bathe her with our NRF2 shampoo and the conditioner. And she has a little bit of itchy skin, but I think it might be like habit, but it's so helped her skin. And also with the serum, we use that on our own horse for rain rot. So we just add that on every other day whenever we see that it's present, or on fly bites, and it goes away. So that's my story. I just want to tell you, like, it's good for all of us. Big, small, young, old, fur, no fur. Thank you guys for letting me share.
Aw, thanks, Cary. I love that. I'm gonna totally get my dog's name's Girlfriend, and I'm gonna get her washed with that because she's been itchy lately. I think she's eating too many of my baby's snacks. But thanks for sharing. And we have a great story, the next one with Mark Patterson. I can't wait to hear how you share your story, and we're eager. So go ahead and unmute yourself.
Aloha, everybody.
Hi.
How you guys doing? That's me after taking 9 months of Protandim. Anyway, I just thought I'd put a smile on your guys' face because I'm kind of going crazy being in my office for the last 5 weeks. Got my gloves, I got my mask, but we're okay right now with this video distancing. Okay, so real quick, this is my wife. Okay, she is the source of my Protandim and my Vitality packs. So about 10 months ago, she says, I want you to take these packs. And I said, oh, come on, you know I don't take medication. I don't like to put pills into me. I'm not very fond of medicine. But she told me, if you take this, your life will change. So I started taking it. And as soon as I popped it in my mouth on that first day, she smiled. And I went, oh my God, my life's changing. Happy wife, happy life. Yeah. So I am already sold on that first day. If I take these pills, my wife is happy. So I was excited about that, and I continue to do it, and she continues to be happy. That's why I'm on this video conferencing right now. So anyway, basically, the first day I took those pills, I was classified as an anemic, okay? The previous 4 years, I've been hospitalized almost every year around the time of the legislature, about April or March, for at least a week, because I bleed internally, okay? So my blood count for an average male is normally like 14 to 17 hemoglobin, okay? So I got as low, 1 year I went as low as 7 and was required, I had 7 pints of blood transfusion to get my levels back up. And that year I had to go to 2 hospitals. One hospital couldn't figure it out, they sent me to another hospital. So that was my life prior to taking the Protandim. Now, the Vitality Packs has been the only thing I take on a religious daily basis up until about from July of last year to about September when I went in. I normally go and check my my blood work every 6 months. Yeah. And so in September, when I took my blood work, I normally average 9 or 10 in terms of my hemoglobin in my blood, and that's why I'm considered anemic. when my blood goes below 8 is when I require transfusion. In September, my doctor called me after my blood work went in and asked me what was I doing differently. I go, why? She said, your blood's back up to 13. Okay. And I said, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I can only think of is these pills that I'm taking. Now, I don't know if that is what caused it or is helping the situation. All I know is that that's the only thing that's going into me on a regular basis. Yeah. And so at that particular point in time, I became a believer. Not only did it make my wife smile and make her happy, but the most important thing to me is that my blood levels were going up again. Yeah. And I'm very happy about that. I continue. I think it was in January, I took my blood test again, and it actually hit 14. Yeah. So it continues to improve. For the last 4 years, I've been below a 10. Yeah. I'm excited. You know, the product has been work wonders with me. We're trying to do the other products as well, but I know everybody's different in their biological makeup and whatnot. But I'm a believer in the Vitality Pack. I take it every day, and I scold my wife if we don't have our order on time. But thank you for allowing me to share, and I hope you guys can have some good experiences for yourself as well.
Thank you so much, Mark. Thank you so much. Wow. So you see, it's not just one person or the other. The thing about oxidative stress and the damage of your cells is it affects everything. And it's the center of all disease. So again, we can't say we can cure them, but just noticing story after story. So Susan, I would love for you to jump on if you could and share your story. You have a great story as well. And thanks again, Mark and Cary, for sharing.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Wow, that's a powerful story, for sure. I first learned about these products a few weeks after I returned from a trip to India, where I was actually studying Ayurvedic medicine. And these products really caught my attention because 3 out of the 5 herbs were in the flagship product were things that I had studied in India, and they're considered the master herbs. In fact, a MD there said, you know, you should take these herbs every single day. Everyone should. And so I started with these products, as most of us do, for their own personal well-being. I was really struggling with some gastrointestinal issues, a very severe bacterial infection, and I was able to really heal from that through using these products. But what really shifted for me, and I was looking into the research even before the story that I'm about to share with you happened. I was really diving into the research because I have a background in working with the medical community in the Department of Defense and Department of Veterans Affairs. And I knew that in being a bridge between natural medicine and the medical community, you have to turn to research. So I was really aware of what the research said in terms of that these products can help to upregulate survival genes and downregulate gene mutations. And it really became a personal thing for me in October of last year when my dad was diagnosed with a very life-threatening condition, somewhat out of the blue. He's always lived a healthy life. He's eaten well. He's avid outdoorsman, never smoked a day in his life. And yet he had an accident. He was fishing in Alaska and he fell. And he actually broke 2 vertebrae in his back. And so he went, after the trip, he went back and had his back x-rayed, had his CAT scan. And what the CAT scan revealed was a lot more than 2 broken vertebrae. And so they said, Mr. Wilson, you got your back, unfortunately, is the least of your worries. And then we proceeded on what's been quite a journey. And I'm sure those of you who have been down this road with a loved one as a caretaker can really feel this when I say it's been a life-changing journey. So when I saw him in November, by the time I was able to go over and see him in Nashville, Tennessee, he was essentially immobile. This is somebody who's been healthy and active his whole life. He was essentially immobile. Some days he didn't get out of bed. He was using a wheelchair at times and using at least a cane all the time. And mostly he just wasn't up moving around. And that was in November. Around that same time, we made the decision with the support of his doctors he began taking not only the Protandim Trisynergizer, which he had been taking, but he started taking a therapeutic dosage of Protandim NRF2. And we did this based on the decision of our understanding what NRF2 activation does in the body, particularly with regards to his specific condition. So in hindsight, he told me, later told me after Christmas, that he wasn't even sure he'd make it to Christmas. And based on his condition in November, that's how I was feeling deep down inside. And I want to tell you that not only was he far better in December when we visited him for Christmas, but when we went back, mid-February was the last time, mid to the end of February was the last time I saw him. He is walking 1 to 2 miles a day. He is back to his outdoor activities, which include, he's an avid fly fisherman and hunter. And he's almost back to his old self. And he has successfully integrated these products into his conventional medical treatments. Again, with the support of his doctors, who not only endorse these products in terms of integrating them into his healing protocol, but actually one of his doctors is taking the product herself. So, when I dove, and I still continue to dive back into the research, because in my mind, I'm like, is this even possible that he's had this dramatic healing? And so one of the studies says, this is one of my favorite quotes, and I just really go back to this study all the time, where it says, Washington State University, who studied NRF2 activation, said, it is potentially the most extraordinary therapeutic and preventive breakthrough in the history of medicine. So I could tell you story after story, and I could tell you in greater detail, but given the time and just the nature, you can probably tell I can get really emotional when I start talking about it, but I'd love to connect with any of you offline, outside of this call, if you'd like to learn more specifics about his health conditions. And I do have numbers that I can share with you, again, in more of a private setting. But just very grateful, could not be more grateful for these products, could not be more grateful for these incredible beings that we've decided to take this journey with. And thank you. Thank you, Daize. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. And it's so powerful to see people, you guys, that would never do network marketing as a business, like Susan and her husband, that are looking at this as a way, hi, Jamie.
He's here.
As a way to really help others on a level that you just can't on a 1-to-1 ratio as like a doctor could, but you're able to change lives on such a great level. I mean, my team has over 10,000 people that are on the product and their health has changed. And that's the beautiful thing about the business. So I'm going to introduce Kehaulani, an amazing, amazing young woman that is going to talk a little bit about the business. We have 2 more speakers and then we'll be done. And again, get with the person that invited you to this to ask questions. Ask the questions. This is one of those companies that you don't want to go over lightly, because in 2 to 5 years, everyone's going to know about it. So go ahead, Kehaulani. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, thank you, Daize. Aloha, kako. My name is Kehaulani, and I'm born and raised on the windward side of Oahu. And I am a mama of 2 keiki, ages 2 and almost 5, and a birth and postpartum doula. And my journey, kind of looking at health, kind of started in my adult life, but a little bit more intense when I became pregnant with my firstborn over like 5.5 years ago. And like a lot of new moms, this is a time where you really like to dig deeper and just start asking questions and just kind of seeing what health looks like for you and your family. So that kind of led me into certifying to become a birth and postpartum doula, and really being passionate about using my gifts of love and support for other families and moms, also navigating the birth and postpartum seasons. And so kind of looking back at the last 5.5 years in my life, kind of being on this, health journey, and also just what else life brought me was getting married. I had 2 kids. I moved 4 times, and started a 3-year construction project of what I thought was going to be a forever home. I watched my brother and my auntie pass away from ALS, or Lou Gehrig's disease. And now, unfortunately, at the tail ends of finalizing a divorce. So it's been a really stressful time, to say the least. So when this opportunity came into my life over a year ago by a dear friend named Sarah, who's on this call, it's just been a blessing in more than one way. And that just inspired me even more. Like, now that I have to start kind of like my life all over, it just kind of opens my eyes on what like a powerful tool this is, you know, to even look at something like this that's completely different as a business opportunity. And because I'm so motivated to make this happen for me and my kids, it's just been a huge blessing. But what attracted me to the business was a handful of really strong women here who were not afraid to like go against the grain. And I've always admired like the movers and the shakers who are really just dedicated to making this work for their lives. So that is why I know that this is a huge possibility for a lot of people. And I'm just so passionate about sharing it, because besides the business part, as a mom and as a doula, evidence-based information really matters. So that kind of aligned with what I was already doing as a doula. So this kind of just made the possibilities way bigger, and to reach out to more people to help with them, you know, along the seasons of birthing and being a postpartum family, but also radically shifting what a paradigm looks like for your family regarding health. So that's kind of what inspired me to just dig deeper. And I'm still on a learning journey and a growing journey here, but I'm so extremely thankful. And we cannot claim that these products, you know, can cure, treat, or mitigate any disease. And nor can we say that the business opportunity is like a really fast way to become a millionaire. We can't say that also. But we do know that when you're committed to health for your family and know like what the root cause of illness is, you can take your own time to connect the dots. So that was what really stood out to me. And I just know that nothing in life is easy, that is really worth it. So it takes a lot of hard work and time and patience. But just being on this team is a huge blessing in itself. So that's all I wanted to share with everyone. So yeah, thank you
so much, Kehaul. I know it's kind of scary to be on these and to open up like that, and we just appreciate that. And especially right now when the world's falling apart, it's really nice to jump on a Zoom and have you share your heart, because it just brings us that much closer. So thank you for that. I know it's not easy.
Thank you.
Jennifer Alice Murray, she is a longtime friend of mine and just incredible all around. I could go on and on about her, but I won't. I'm just going to let you go for it, girl. We have a few minutes left and would love to hear from you. So thank you so much for jumping on.
Thanks, Daize. Yeah, well, first of all, really wonderful shares from all of you. And if you're someone who's watching a recording, it's pretty amazing to see 50 or more people faces sitting here, because you get this like feeling of like who can do this, because I think that's one of the biggest mysteries for a lot of us when we're first feeling intrigued about the business or first feeling amazed by the products, is just sort of this lingering question of like, well, who really does this? Can I be one of these, you know, weird people that actually like makes this business work? And so it's just nice. So if you're just watching a recording, just know that there's a lot of friendly faces here to see, and just people from just all different kinds of walks of life. And for me, it was like I was in a lot of pain, and the products helped, you know, like really swept away most of that pain for me. And So in a business sense, you know, my entrepreneurial mind, of course, was thinking, wow, there's a lot of people that are in pain or suffering. So I can see that this is a good business opportunity, but am I one of the people that, you know, can make this work? And I honestly came on board. I signed up originally as a distributor rather than a customer because I felt like I was being such a pain, asking so many questions about where it comes from, what it's made of, how clean it is, are there children in the factories? I mean, I wanted like every question answered, and people were just taking so much time with me to answer all these questions. And I felt like I owed it to them to sort of like come on board. And I figured I'd get more questions answered if I was a distributor. And I sort of said to myself, well, I'll get my toes wet for a couple of years, you know, just check it out for a couple of years and see if I can, you know, have any results. And I had a very smart friend that brought me in, very perseverant and very smart. And the first thing she did the day that I signed up, which was a huge hassle because back then the website was not as up to date and fancy as it is now. And it took like all day to get me like, no, let's get you a couple of customers. And I was like, huh? No, like, no, I'm just like getting my feet wet, you know, but she stuck with me and she basically made me call my mother and my aunt. And I got 3 people signed up on people that wanted to support me in my new little endeavor. And, you know, like a week later, I had a $75 check in my hand. And I was making good money at the time. I was a private chef. I'm a cookbook author. I was on a very specific track with that. And, but that little $75 check came in and I was like, oh, wow, there's my phone bill. I wonder if I can get a couple more bills paid next month, you know? And just, if you're a visual person, you know, visually, you get a little back office when you sign up. And I was watching over the first few months as, you know, these numbers get a little bigger and get a little bigger. And yes, it was nice getting paid. I was getting paid like $150 an hour to cook food for people, which has a lot of downsides to it. Really bad hours, working every holiday, etc. And I was kind of sitting there chopping vegetables after like 3 or 4 months of doing this. And in my head, I was thinking, that little number is getting bigger. That little number in that little back office is getting bigger. And when I'm done chopping these vegetables and feeding these people these food and cleaned up and they give me my check and I spend it all on rent and bills and whatever, it's going to be gone. And all that energy that I put into that is gone forever. It's just like lost down a rabbit hole. But this little thing that I'm working on the side, it's just tick, tick, tick. It just was getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I felt like there was so much value to that because I was building something rather than just throwing all my energy down a rabbit hole for eternity, you know? So that's it. Just a little simple share about, you know, kind of seeing the moment that I sort of saw the difference between exchanging time in my life for money to building something that maybe grows slowly, but does compound and grow. And, you know, eventually it took, by the end of those 2 years, I was retired as a chef and a full-time network marketer, as strange as that is to say, but so that's how we end up here.
I love that. And it's so true. You don't realize that a wheel can spin without you stepping in and trading the time for dollars. So thanks so much, friend Jen, for your share. So appreciate that. And I'm sure we all do. But hey, listen, you guys are going to have questions. I do a Zoom tomorrow morning at 8:30 Hawaii time, 11:30 Pacific Standard Time. And I explain more of it. So I explain the products a little more. I explain the business. It's a short 20-25 minutes. So if you do want to hop on tomorrow, you can get more of an explanation. We're just really, really grateful that you jumped on today. Yes, there's also a product call today at 2:30 Hawaii time. So there is a lot of information out there that you can plug into to really see if this is for you. The products obviously are for everybody, but as far as the business goes, it's for certain people. So, you know, it's actually for everybody, everyone that wants to make a little extra. And let's be real, we all want to make a little extra right now. So thanks for joining us. Get with the person that invited you. Let's get your questions answered and see how you can move forward. And we're just grateful that you came to connect with us. Thank you so much, everybody. Bye.